In October 1962, the world came closer to nuclear war than ever before. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in the Cuban Missile Crisis, a 13-day standoff that could have ended civilization. At the heart of this story was not a president or a general, but a quiet Soviet submarine officer named Vasily Arkhipov. Born in 1926 to a peasant family near Moscow, Arkhipov grew up through hardship. He served in the Soviet Navy during World War II, and by 1962 he was second in command aboard the B-59 submarine, part of a fleet secretly sent to Cuba. These submarines carried nuclear torpedoes, each one capable of destroying an entire city. As tensions peaked, U.S. Navy ships tracked the B-59. To force it to surface, they dropped practice depth charges, small explosives not meant to sink the submarine but terrifying for those inside. What the Americans didn't know was that conditions on board the B-59 were dire. The submarine had been submerged for days. Temperatures climbed above 45 degrees, 113 degrees. Crew members were exhausted, cut off from Moscow, and unsure if war had already broken out above the waves. The captain of the B-59, Valentin Savitsky, believed that full war might have started. He ordered the preparation of the nuclear torpedo. If launched, it could have obliterated the U.S. fleet and triggered a global nuclear exchange. But there was one rule. To fire the nuclear weapon, all three senior officers had to agree. The captain agreed. The political officer agreed. That left only Vasily Arkhipov. In that sweltering submarine with the world on the brink, Arkhipov said no. He refused to give consent. He argued that the submarine should surface, establish contact, and await orders, not start a war that might end humanity. It was a moment of unimaginable pressure. One word from him could have changed history forever. But his calm, reasoned stand prevented disaster. The B-59 surfaced. The standoff eventually ended with a deal. The Soviets withdrew missiles from Cuba, and the Americans secretly removed theirs from Turkey. Few outside the Soviet Navy ever knew Arkhipov's role. He went on to a quiet career, retiring as a vice admiral. He died in 1998, his story largely unknown. Only decades later did declassified documents and eyewitness accounts reveal the truth. This man had quite literally saved the world. Historians estimate that if the nuclear torpedo had been launched, retaliation would have followed, and millions, perhaps hundreds of millions, could have died. Civilization itself might not have survived. Vasily Arkhipov never sought fame. He never gave interviews, never boasted. Yet in that one critical moment, his decision shaped the fate of everyone alive today. His story is a reminder that